I'm on fire.
Hey everyone, this is the 5 Yard Pass. You're with Suddy and Shyam, and we are going through our Premier League predictions for each of the big teams this season. This video, sorry, we're going to be having a look at West Ham. West Ham had a great season last year, finished sixth. Were in the Champions League conversations until very late. Had a very good start of the season and kicked on in the second half as well, and really challenged all the way through. David Moyes also got a bit of redemption after his sort of Man United experience. But we're here with Suddy. We're going to push Suddy a little bit more. What are your thoughts about West Ham last season?
I mean, ironically, West Ham, the image of West Ham last season was all Jesse Lingard. He played about 10 games, maybe 12. And he kind of made the team his own, weirdly. But we'll talk about the whole season as a whole. They came sixth. I think it was their best ever in the modern day Premier League. 62 scored, 47 conceded. That's a very decent return. It's up there with the best. They're a side which probably, given a bit of luck, could have pushed for the Champions League, but whether they come sixth, so they're going to play Europe next season, something the fans haven't seen, and I can't remember the last time they played in Europe, frankly. And I loved watching them from the Di Canio days. So, but I think all credit goes to Moyes overall. You're right, huge redemption, and he's kind of shown. And I think what people have to understand is, like, just because you can't be the United manager doesn't mean you're a bad manager. Good managers just don't fit with United. Mourinho's a good manager. LVG is a great manager. He's won the Champions League. He's won the Bundesliga. Moyes had Everton for so long, and he was a great player as well. So he's kind of redeemed himself. And for me, he would be my kind of player of the season for West Ham, besides that kind of midfield trio, which was so immense. Moyes has just, and with great backing as well, because if you remember 2 or 3 years ago when he was the interim manager, he hated the fact that he was interim manager. He kind of left in a bad way, but he's come back and he's built the team, and now he's the guy. And full credit to him. I think West Ham had a great season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it'll be interesting to see how they mix the Europa and the Premier League this season as well. Not a lot of player movement coming in or out from West Ham this season. Any names catch your eye?
I think they have a very good 12 to 15 players. The loss of Lingard is a big deal. They got to find a source of creativity, because now you've tasted the fruit. You've tasted that. We've had that Mercurial play we've missed since maybe Dimitri Payet, since what's his name, Felipe Luis, excuse me, who's gone up to Lazio as well. Important players, and I think the lack of transfer activity could prove costly. Not so much from the way they play, because I think Moyes, if he picks the right players, it doesn't have to be the best players, but the right players. He can play whatever style he wants. Very, very stern pressing football down the wings, a lot of width, a lot of expression going forward, but very kind of strict at the back. You can play whatever you want, but they need depth. They're going to be playing a game every 4 days in the meat of it, in that kind of November to March period, and they should look to think about going far in Europe, man. Because if you think about the best teams in Europe, would West Ham have been able to go as far as United last year? I think so. I think they could have beaten United in the final. Like, if you get what I'm trying to say, like, every English team that goes into the Europa should be considered, and especially if you drop down from the Champions League, considering who go win it. And yeah, I think this could be a huge kind of moment in the way Villa is as well. Not so much Arsenal, but the way Villa is, it's a huge moment to kind of, do we keep Rice? Do we convince Souček? Convince who's that other guy in the midfield with them? Losing.
It was Lingard, Antonio. No.
Antonio, Michael Antonio would never leave, but getting those guys to stay on and push on. So it's essential for that to happen, for them to have a good season.
Yeah. What do you think about Rice? Do you think Rice is going to go, or do you think he's going to stay?
I think a lot of those England players want to stay where they are. I think Sancho coming back to England, it's a kind of an anomaly, because he was meant to come back last year. But I don't think you'd see much movement in any of those players who were at the Euros. I don't know why. I just have this kind of gut feeling that they're in a good moment in their careers. Like, they got to play one more season. They may not have a move next season because of the World Cup. I think they'd like to stay where they are, because they know where they are is what's going to get them to the dance at Qatar next year.
Yeah.
That's just my kind of grasp. And I think Sancho knows going to United, it doesn't matter if he's playing at Dortmund or United. Well, it does, because I think United will elevate his game. Is it an elevation to go to Chelsea? I don't know. I think it's about the same. He's going to play against the same people. maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I think Rice being the man, he's the man at West Ham. You talk about Souček, we talk about Lingard, we talk about Antonio. Antonio is a much more kind of larger than life character, bit of the kind of dressing room character. But don't get it twisted. Declan Rice is the man at West Ham. So no, I don't think he goes. I don't think he goes. And in fact, to that point, just to that point, I bet you Kane doesn't go. Maybe Kane goes. That's the only maybe. Grealish doesn't go either.
I think that because Southgate's shown a willingness to play players regardless of their club, like guys like Calvin Phillips, first season in the Premier League, plays in the Euros. Jude Bellingham as well, first season in Dortmund, plays in the Euros. Guys like Tyrone Mings at Aston Villa getting game time. I think because of things like that, I think that increases the chances of what you're saying. Kane, I do think will move, at whether it's now or the next summer. But apart from that, I don't really see any of the other players sort of switching clubs or anything like that.
And just a great example here would be like Nathan Ake. Nathan Ake could have. Did he play this year in the Euros? He didn't. He didn't play in the Euros this year. He should have been the guy who took over Van Dijk, but he wasn't, because he's gone to Man City. He hasn't gone in terms of his personal development. You should be going sideways to upwards. For me, Kane is going sideways, maybe a little upwards. He's just gone down. Okay, he just doesn't play.
He's gone from being first choice at Aston Villa to fourth choice at Man City.
So what? You're the best team in the world in Man City. You don't play. You don't play. You know. Anyway, yeah, that's just kind of a good analogy to kind of bring up.
You've brought up a couple of key players there. In terms of the stats, I think Souček and Lingard were probably their best performers in terms of numbers. Is there anyone else that catches your eye in terms of people that could raise the game for West Ham, people that could help them kick on, particularly without Lingard around? Anyone who could provide that bit of spark for them?
I know you have different thoughts here, but my kind of thought is I think Souček can become a different type of player in the way you see Jordan Henderson has developed into this kind of all-action midfielder. I think Souček can be a bit more of that, perhaps giving a few more goals. I have a sneaky suspicion Jesse Lingard, they'll make a late move for Jesse Lingard, and I think he will be back at West Ham, because he's gone to London. You have to take all that into account. He's gone to London, he's had his whole feel-good. He was at the Euros at a bar with a parrot on his shoulder with Declan Rice on the back of his England shirt. Did you see that photo?
No, I didn't.
It was a very cool photo. He's kind of wearing a bucket cap with these.
I'm gonna ask you to put that on the video, as in on the the video.
But do I think Lingard leaves? I suspect he comes back, and I suspect they won't have to do much to get him back either. It's a matter of United. I think when Bruno and Rashford come back from their break, and he starts to kind of fall down the pecking order, you feel in training, man. Like I didn't play high level. You maybe once subjected to on and off bench period, because you either had long periods on the bench as a keeper, or you were just playing for years at a time. But I know myself, you in training, you already know if you're not going to play, even if he doesn't announce the team. You just know, at my level, and I can imagine at Jesse Lingard's level, he knows in training if you feel wanted or not. So I think that'll push him out the club, and I think he comes to West Ham and does more what he does last season. And credit to United for letting him go to West Ham as well. The way he performed. It was
very unorthodox, actually. It's not a type of move you'd see mid-season, letting a player from the team, also United's level, loan out to another team. You tend to see, if you see those moves, you see them overseas, or you see them at the beginning of the season. So, like you said, very out of the box. But he's played, I think he played 1,400 minutes, got 9 goals and 4 assists. So it's close to elite, if it's not elite. Yeah. One name you did say different thoughts on this. I do think there's a big opportunity for Yarmolenko. He played had one start in the league.
Yeah, but I know you have that. I know you were thinking.
I just think that he can produce moments. So the question is he going to get a kick on from Europe? I don't necessarily think he's the answer, but I think he could be a answer. Given the way that he played for Ukraine, if he can bring that to West Ham, it's going to help West Ham a lot. And a player like him might just like the Europa. He might just be suited to playing in the Europa League and help West Ham kick on in that, maybe a bit more so than the Premier League.
I mean, you look at Igalo for United. He was suited to the Europa League, suited to the League Cup, and you can say it's less opposition. But the fact of the matter is, he performed, and Yarmolenko might be that guy as well. I just wanted to bring out another point. Just in terms of expectations, they do have a very, very tough start. They do have a very tough start. Leicester, Crystal Palace, United, Newcastle, Southampton, Leeds. Very, very tough start. But I think Moyes has shown, especially at the start, there's no European football. Moyes has shown that he's able to recreate teams very well. I'm not talking about the United time, in Everton especially, he can recreate and sustain. So I think they're going to start well, but however I think they will fall short in Europe, because if that team doesn't get filled up with numbers, with bodies, that stretching could potentially cause them to kind of go down the ladder a bit. And I know we're going to get to expectations, I'll just bring it up myself. I do see them falling out of that Europa League position. I see them kind of competing with the Arsenals just for this season if they don't get enough players. And if they do, we could be talking about a different West Ham in a few weeks' time with a few more transfers.
I actually think they'll fall a bit further than that. I think they'll fall
Okay.
into the lower half. I think like Wolves last year, so they're that 12th, 13th type position. Just given the number of bodies, that could change before the end of the transfer window. I do have a feeling, given that a lot of clubs are strapped for cash, that transfer deals in terms of amounts are going to get smaller and they're going to get later as well. I suspect, given between now and the end of the window in a month, I think that you're going to see a lot of wheeling and dealing going on by a lot of clubs, and all of these sort of swap deals and loan deals and get this guy off our wage bill type deals are going to happen. And the Premier League is the league with cash at the moment, so there could be players coming from overseas. And West Ham is just a team that needs more bodies, but as it is, I do see them falling fairly hard.
Absolutely, it's going to be a lot of kind of sneaky wheeling and dealings. Like I was reading today, Kurt Zuma's going the other way for a deal. I can't remember who they're bringing in from Sevilla, but just like that, like Kurt Zuma's gone. Kurt Zuma's been in the club for about 10 years, and now he's out. Yeah, so absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. I think, but if West Ham, and historically we've seen a number of clubs, Wolves, Leicester, potentially Tottenham, they do well in the league in Europe, but not so well in the league. If they had the both at the same time, Europe they tend to do better there. So I think West Ham could do well in Europe. The pace will be a bit slower. They have players to could express themselves quite well, and I think you're right. The league will suffer, but if they do well in Europe, the money is there. The money in the Premier League is always going to be there, but the money in Europe, if it comes in, this could be a season they go, okay, you're not going to get relegated, but you're not going to be in Europe again. But we're going to get more money, and then we can build again from there. So that could be.
That gets them 2 or 3 signings to push on next year.
Yeah. So they just have to kind of accept a little bit of their fate. And look, if they do well, as we say, it is what it is, and good fair play to them.
All right, and I think on that we'll wrap it up. Thanks, guys, for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is the 5-yard pass. This is Suddy and Shyam. Keep things football simple, and as always,
keep passing, guys. Cheers.
I'm on fire.